Psalm 107 presents one of the most remarkable pictures of restoration, deliverance, and divine faithfulness found in Scripture. Throughout the chapter, different groups of people find themselves facing various forms of difficulty. Some wander through wilderness places without direction, searching for a city to dwell in. Others sit in darkness and limitation, feeling trapped by circumstances beyond their control. Some suffer because of poor decisions, while others encounter storms so intense that their strength and confidence begin to fail. Yet despite the differences in their situations, one truth remains constant throughout the psalm. Whenever they cried out in their distress, deliverance followed. This repeated pattern reveals a profound lesson about testimonies. A testimony is far more than a story about something good that happened in the past. It is evidence of faithfulness, restoration, and breakthrough. It serves as a reminder that difficult circumstances do not always have the final word. Psalm 107 teaches that testimonies preserve the memory of divine intervention and provide assurance that restoration remains possible regardless of present challenges. Many individuals underestimate the importance of remembrance. Human nature often gravitates toward present difficulties while gradually forgetting previous victories. When challenges become intense, people may focus so heavily on current obstacles that they lose sight of the fact that they have overcome difficulties before. Discouragement often grows when memory becomes selective and remembers only pain while overlooking evidence of past restoration. This is why testimonies matter. They protect perspective. They remind individuals that situations once considered impossible eventually changed. They remind them that seasons of confusion were replaced by clarity, seasons of limitation gave way to opportunity, and seasons of struggle eventually produced growth and progress. What once appeared permanent often proved temporary. Testimonies therefore become anchors for the mind during uncertain seasons. Psalm 107 repeatedly demonstrates that no situation is beyond restoration. The wilderness wanderers found direction. Those trapped in darkness experienced freedom. Those overwhelmed by storms reached safe harbor. These examples illustrate that restoration can occur in many different forms because challenges themselves take many different forms. Some individuals face emotional battles. Others encounter financial difficulties, relational struggles, professional setbacks, or seasons of uncertainty concerning their future. While circumstances differ, the principle remains the same. Restoration remains possible. One of the most powerful aspects of testimony is its ability to strengthen faith. Faith often grows through evidence. When individuals remember previous breakthroughs, confidence increases. They begin to realize that current challenges are not unique in their ability to create fear or uncertainty. Every difficult season carries the temptation to believe that circumstances will never improve. Yet testimonies challenge that assumption by presenting tangible examples of change, growth, and deliverance. A testimony also reveals patterns of perseverance. Many people admire the outcome of restoration while overlooking the process that preceded it. Behind most testimonies lies a story of endurance, patience, learning, and continued faithfulness during difficult seasons. The testimony becomes valuable not only because of the victory itself, but because of the lessons embedded within the journey. Another important truth found in Psalm 107 is that deliverance often follows recognition of need. The individuals described in the psalm eventually acknowledged their situation and cried out for help. This demonstrates humility and honesty. Growth often begins when people stop pretending that everything is fine and become willing to seek wisdom, guidance, support, and direction. Testimonies therefore remind individuals that asking for help is not weakness. It is often the beginning of transformation. Whether the need involves emotional healing, practical wisdom, spiritual growth, or renewed perspective, restoration frequently begins with honest recognition of present circumstances. The educational value of testimony should also not be overlooked. Every testimony contains lessons capable of benefiting others. Experiences of restoration provide insight into perseverance, resilience, gratitude, discipline, and hope. They reveal principles that can be applied in future situations. This is why testimonies become more than personal stories. They become sources of wisdom. Gratitude is closely connected to testimony as well. Psalm 107 repeatedly encourages people to give thanks after deliverance occurs. Gratitude helps preserve the memory of breakthrough. Without gratitude, victories are easily forgotten, and the lessons connected to them may be lost. Gratitude ensures that restoration becomes part of a person's ongoing perspective rather than a forgotten event. Another significant aspect of testimony is its ability to inspire expectation. Expectation is not wishful thinking detached from reality. It is confidence built upon evidence. When individuals remember how previous obstacles were overcome, they become more willing to believe that present challenges can also be addressed. Testimonies create a foundation for hope because they demonstrate that change has occurred before and can occur again. Ultimately, Psalm 107 teaches that testimonies are powerful because they preserve the memory of faithfulness and remind individuals that restoration remains possible regardless of circumstances. They strengthen faith during uncertainty, encourage perseverance during delay, and provide hope during difficult seasons. Testimonies become spiritual landmarks that point toward the possibility of future breakthroughs while honoring previous victories. In this way, they do far more than celebrate the past. They create confidence for the future, reminding every individual that no situation is beyond the reach of restoration, growth, and transformation. Gratitude transforms past victories into foundations for future confidence and greater expectation. One of the recurring themes throughout Psalm 107 is the call to give thanks after experiencing deliverance. The psalm repeatedly describes people being rescued from distress and then encourages them to acknowledge that restoration with gratitude. This pattern reveals an important principle. Gratitude is not merely a response to blessing. It is a perspective that preserves the value of past experiences and strengthens confidence for future seasons. Many individuals experience moments of breakthrough, progress, and restoration, yet over time they gradually shift their focus entirely to new challenges. Human nature often adapts quickly to improvement. What was once considered a major victory can eventually become normal, and attention naturally moves toward unresolved problems or future goals. While growth and ambition are valuable, forgetting previous victories can weaken perspective and increase unnecessary discouragement. Gratitude protects against this tendency by helping individuals remain aware of how far they have already come. It reminds them that progress has occurred even if the journey is not yet complete. A grateful person is more likely to recognize evidence of growth, learning, provision, and restoration rather than becoming consumed by what still remains unfinished. Psalm 107 illustrates that gratitude follows deliverance because remembrance strengthens faith. When people intentionally acknowledge previous victories, they build a record of evidence that future challenges are not impossible to overcome. Gratitude transforms experiences into lessons and victories into sources of confidence. Instead of viewing breakthrough as a temporary event, gratitude turns it into a permanent reminder of possibility. Confidence grows when people remember what has already been accomplished. Many individuals struggle with fear during uncertain seasons because they focus exclusively on present obstacles. Yet gratitude broadens perspective by including previous moments of success, wisdom, and restoration. It reminds them that challenges have been faced before and that growth has occurred through earlier difficulties. Another important benefit of gratitude is emotional resilience. A person who consistently practices gratitude often maintains greater stability during pressure because their attention is balanced. They acknowledge current challenges without allowing those challenges to become the only reality they recognize. Gratitude helps prevent discouragement from dominating perspective. This does not mean ignoring problems or pretending difficulties do not exist. Rather, gratitude creates balance. It allows people to face reality honestly while still remembering evidence of previous progress. In this way, gratitude becomes a source of emotional strength rather than simply an expression of appreciation. Gratitude also influences expectation. Expectation is often shaped by what individuals choose to remember. If memory focuses primarily on disappointment, expectation tends to become cautious, fearful, or negative. However, if memory includes examples of breakthrough, growth, and restoration, expectation becomes stronger and more hopeful. This principle is especially important during seasons where visible progress appears slow. Delays can create frustration, and uncertainty can weaken motivation. Yet gratitude helps sustain perseverance by reminding individuals that previous seasons of difficulty eventually changed. What seemed impossible before became possible. What felt permanent eventually shifted. These reminders strengthen the willingness to continue moving forward. Another important truth is that gratitude increases awareness. Many opportunities are overlooked because people become focused exclusively on what they have not yet received. Gratitude broadens perception and helps individuals recognize resources, relationships, lessons, and possibilities that already exist around them. This awareness often creates greater readiness for future opportunities. Relationships also benefit from gratitude. People who appreciate support, encouragement, mentorship, and kindness often build stronger connections than those who focus only on shortcomings. Gratitude strengthens trust, encourages generosity, and creates healthier interactions over time. The educational value of gratitude should not be underestimated. Every victory contains lessons. Every breakthrough reveals principles. Gratitude encourages reflection on those lessons so they can be applied in future situations. It transforms experiences into wisdom and prevents valuable insights from being forgotten. Another significant aspect of gratitude is that it nurtures contentment without eliminating ambition. A grateful person can appreciate present blessings while still pursuing future growth. This balance protects against constant dissatisfaction and helps maintain emotional health throughout the journey. Ultimately, Psalm 107 teaches that gratitude is far more powerful than a simple expression of thanks. It transforms past victories into foundations for future confidence, strengthens resilience during challenging seasons, and nurtures expectation for new opportunities ahead. Gratitude preserves the memory of restoration, protects perspective during uncertainty, and reminds individuals that previous breakthroughs are evidence that future breakthroughs remain possible. In this way, gratitude becomes a bridge connecting past faithfulness with future hope, creating a mindset prepared to recognize and embrace the doors that are yet to open. Remembering previous deliverances strengthens resilience and prevents discouragement during seasons of delay. One of the greatest challenges people face during difficult seasons is maintaining hope when visible progress appears slow. Delays have a unique way of testing patience, confidence, and emotional stability. When expectations remain unfulfilled for extended periods, discouragement can quietly enter the mind and begin to influence perspective. This is why Psalm 107 repeatedly points back to previous acts of deliverance. The psalm reminds readers that remembering what has already been accomplished is essential for maintaining strength while waiting for future breakthroughs. Many individuals assume that resilience is simply the ability to endure hardship. However, resilience is more than endurance alone. It is the capacity to remain hopeful, focused, and emotionally stable even when circumstances are not changing as quickly as desired. Resilience allows individuals to continue moving forward without becoming overwhelmed by temporary setbacks or delays. One of the primary ways resilience is strengthened is through remembrance. When people intentionally recall previous victories, they gain evidence that difficult seasons do not last forever. They remember moments when solutions appeared unexpectedly, when opportunities emerged after long periods of waiting, and when challenges that once seemed impossible eventually changed. These memories become powerful reminders that current difficulties may also be temporary. Psalm 107 presents several examples of people experiencing deliverance after periods of distress. Some wandered through wilderness conditions without direction. Others found themselves trapped in circumstances that seemed impossible to escape. Yet every story moved from difficulty to restoration. These examples demonstrate that delay does not necessarily mean denial, and that struggle does not always indicate permanent limitation. Discouragement often develops when individuals focus exclusively on present conditions. If all attention is directed toward what has not yet happened, frustration naturally increases. However, remembrance broadens perspective. It reminds individuals that life includes more than the current challenge. There have been victories, lessons, growth experiences, and moments of restoration that deserve recognition. This broader perspective helps prevent emotional exhaustion. When people forget previous breakthroughs, every new challenge feels larger and more overwhelming. In contrast, those who remember past deliverances often approach difficulties with greater confidence because they possess evidence that obstacles can be overcome. Another important aspect of remembrance is its influence on patience. Patience becomes easier when individuals recognize that many positive outcomes in life required time. Significant growth, meaningful achievements, restored relationships, and important opportunities often developed gradually rather than instantly. Remembering this reality reduces the temptation to abandon the process prematurely. Faith is also strengthened through remembrance. Faith grows when individuals recall previous experiences of guidance, provision, wisdom, and breakthrough. These experiences create confidence that current challenges are not beyond resolution. Instead of viewing present difficulties as unique and impossible, they become part of a larger pattern where obstacles are eventually overcome through perseverance and continued growth. Remembrance also helps individuals interpret delays more wisely. Not every delay is negative. Some delays create opportunities for preparation, learning, maturity, and skill development. Looking back often reveals that certain periods of waiting produced valuable growth that would have been impossible otherwise. This understanding reduces frustration and encourages trust in the process. Another benefit of remembering previous deliverances is increased gratitude. Gratitude and discouragement rarely thrive together for long. When people intentionally acknowledge past victories, they become more aware of how much progress has already occurred. This awareness creates emotional balance and reduces the tendency to focus exclusively on remaining challenges. Resilience is further strengthened because remembrance provides perspective during uncertainty. It reminds individuals that temporary setbacks do not define the entire journey. Challenges are chapters, not conclusions. Difficult seasons are experiences, not identities. This distinction helps maintain hope and prevents discouragement from becoming permanent. The educational value of remembrance should also be recognized. Every past victory contains lessons about perseverance, wisdom, decision-making, patience, and growth. Reflecting on these lessons provides guidance for present circumstances and increases confidence when facing future challenges. Ultimately, Psalm 107 teaches that remembering previous deliverances is a powerful strategy for maintaining resilience during seasons of delay. Remembrance strengthens faith, encourages patience, protects perspective, and prevents discouragement from dominating the mind. By recalling previous moments of restoration, individuals gain confidence that present difficulties are not permanent and that future breakthroughs remain possible. In this way, remembrance becomes a source of strength that sustains hope, supports perseverance, and prepares the heart for the opportunities and victories that lie ahead. Every challenge contains lessons that can become testimonies of growth, wisdom, and transformation. One of the most important truths revealed in Psalm 107 is that difficult seasons are not merely obstacles to endure. They are opportunities to learn, develop, and gain understanding that may not have been possible under easier circumstances. While challenges are often uncomfortable and sometimes painful, they frequently become the environments where some of life's most valuable lessons are discovered. Many people naturally focus on escaping difficulties as quickly as possible. While there is nothing wrong with desiring relief, focusing only on the end of a challenge can cause individuals to overlook the lessons hidden within the process. Psalm 107 describes people facing wilderness experiences, limitations, storms, and various forms of distress. Yet when their stories are viewed as a whole, it becomes clear that the journey itself produced insight, perspective, and growth that later became part of their testimony. A testimony is not simply a record of victory, it is often a record of transformation. The most meaningful testimonies do not merely describe changed circumstances, they reveal changed individuals. They show how wisdom increased, character strengthened, priorities shifted, and resilience developed through experiences that initially seemed difficult to understand. Challenges often reveal strengths and weaknesses that remain hidden during comfortable seasons. Under pressure, individuals discover how they respond to uncertainty, disappointment, delay, and adversity. These discoveries create opportunities for growth because they expose areas requiring greater maturity, discipline, patience, or perspective. For example, a season of delay may teach patience. A period of uncertainty may develop adaptability. A difficult relationship may strengthen communication skills and emotional intelligence. A professional setback may encourage greater preparation and strategic thinking. While these lessons may not feel significant in the moment, they often become essential for future success and stability. Psalm 107 repeatedly demonstrates that people emerged from difficulty with more than deliverance alone. They gained experiences that deepened their understanding and strengthened their appreciation for restoration. In many cases, the lessons learned during hardship became as valuable as the breakthrough itself. Wisdom is one of the greatest gifts that can emerge from challenge. Wisdom differs from knowledge because it is developed through experience. Knowledge may provide information, but wisdom provides understanding about how to apply that information effectively. Difficult seasons often accelerate the development of wisdom because they require individuals to make decisions, solve problems, and navigate complexities they might not otherwise encounter. Another important lesson challenges teach is humility. Success and comfort can sometimes create overconfidence, while adversity often reminds individuals of the importance of learning, seeking guidance, and remaining open to growth. Humility creates space for improvement because it allows people to acknowledge limitations and embrace development. Challenges also strengthen resilience. Every time a person overcomes difficulty, confidence increases. They gain evidence that they can endure, adapt, and continue moving forward despite obstacles. This resilience becomes an important resource during future challenges because previous victories provide assurance that current difficulties can also be managed successfully. Perspective is another valuable outcome. Many people discover during difficult seasons what truly matters. Priorities become clearer. Relationships become more meaningful. Gratitude increases. Temporary concerns often lose their dominance when viewed against the backdrop of significant life experiences. This renewed perspective frequently becomes one of the most enduring benefits of adversity. The lessons learned through challenge often become valuable not only for personal growth but also for helping others. Testimonies have the power to encourage because they demonstrate that growth and restoration are possible. Experiences that once seemed purely painful can later provide guidance, insight, and hope to those facing similar situations. Another important truth is that transformation rarely happens instantly. Growth usually occurs gradually as lessons are learned, applied, and reinforced over time. This process requires reflection and intentionality. Individuals who take time to evaluate their experiences often gain more wisdom from them than those who simply move on without considering what they have learned. Ultimately, Psalm 107 teaches that every challenge contains the potential to become a testimony. Difficult seasons can produce wisdom, resilience, humility, patience, and deeper understanding when approached with a willingness to learn. The testimony that emerges is not only about what was overcome, but also about who a person became through the process. In this way, challenges are transformed from obstacles into opportunities for growth, and experiences of adversity become powerful stories of transformation, wisdom, and lasting personal development. Faith-filled expectation positions individuals to recognize and embrace new opportunities when doors begin to open. One of the most powerful lessons that emerges from Psalm 107 is that restoration is not meant to end with gratitude alone. Gratitude honors past faithfulness, but expectation prepares the heart and mind for future possibilities. After seasons of deliverance, growth, and learning, individuals must develop the ability to look forward with confidence rather than remain permanently focused on what has already happened. Testimonies become most powerful when they inspire expectation for greater opportunities ahead. Expectation is more than wishful thinking. It is a mindset shaped by previous evidence of restoration, growth, and breakthrough. Wishful thinking depends on desire alone, but faith-filled expectation is supported by experience, wisdom, and remembrance. It recognizes that if positive change has occurred before, future opportunities are also possible. This perspective creates readiness rather than passivity. Many people pray for open doors, yet when opportunities appear, they sometimes fail to recognize them because disappointment from previous seasons has weakened their expectation. Long periods of waiting can create caution, fear, and hesitation. Individuals may become so accustomed to delay that they struggle to believe that change is actually happening when new opportunities begin to emerge. Psalm 107 repeatedly demonstrates movement from limitation into restoration. The people described in the psalm did not remain permanently in wilderness seasons, storms, or places of confinement. Change occurred, direction was provided, deliverance arrived. These examples remind us that seasons are temporary. What exists today may not define tomorrow. This understanding creates space for expectation. Expectation influences perception. People often notice what they are prepared to see. Individuals who expect only disappointment may overlook opportunities because their attention is fixed on potential problems. In contrast, those who maintain healthy expectation are more likely to recognize possibilities, resources, and connections that others may miss. Their perspective remains open rather than closed. This does not mean ignoring risks or abandoning wisdom. Faith-filled expectation works alongside discernment. It combines optimism with preparation. It recognizes opportunities while still evaluating them carefully. Healthy expectation is not blind enthusiasm. It is confident readiness supported by wisdom and experience. Preparation is closely connected to expectation. Expecting new opportunities should inspire growth and readiness. A person who anticipates advancement often develops skills, strengthens character, improves discipline, and prepares mentally for greater responsibility. In this way, expectation becomes productive rather than passive. Another important truth is that opportunities rarely arrive in perfect form. Many breakthroughs begin as small openings rather than dramatic transformations. An unexpected conversation, a new relationship, a learning opportunity, a fresh idea, or a small responsibility may become the doorway to something much greater. Individuals with faith-filled expectation often recognize the significance of these seemingly ordinary beginnings. Courage is also necessary when doors begin to open. New opportunities frequently require change, adaptation, and movement beyond familiar environments. Fear can cause people to remain attached to old limitations, even when new possibilities are available. Expectation strengthens courage because it shifts focus from potential failure toward potential growth. The testimonies described in Psalm 107 demonstrate that restoration often creates new pathways. Those who were once lost found direction. Those who were trapped found freedom. Those who were overwhelmed found stability. These experiences did not simply remove problems, they created opportunities for a different future. In the same way, every season of growth can become preparation for new levels of responsibility, influence, and impact. Expectation also strengthens perseverance. Individuals who believe that positive outcomes remain possible are more likely to continue investing effort, learning new skills, and pursuing meaningful goals. Hope sustains action. Without expectation, motivation gradually weakens. With expectation, individuals continue preparing because they believe future opportunities are worth the effort. Another benefit of faith-filled expectation is emotional resilience. It prevents people from becoming trapped in past disappointments. While lessons from the past remain valuable, expectation keeps attention directed toward future possibilities rather than permanent regret. It creates balance between remembering previous experiences and embracing new opportunities. Ultimately, Psalm 107 teaches that testimonies should inspire more than celebration. They should inspire expectation. Every story of restoration becomes evidence that growth, change, and breakthrough remain possible. Faith-filled expectation positions individuals to recognize open doors, embrace new opportunities, and move forward with confidence. When gratitude for the past combines with preparation for the future, people become ready not only to remember previous victories, but also to step boldly into the opportunities and possibilities that lie ahead.